Okay, we're going to do a few more examples, and we're going to start with a triangle. Now, I'm going to draw one of those crazy triangles I was showing you about. I kind of start with a line like this, and then I go even further out, and you can come back in. Okay, so this is a triangle, and we are going to say that the base is 2 1/10 centimeter. And remember how we're going to have to drop down right there to see how tall the triangle is from bottom to top. And we're going to say that it is 6 4/10 centimeters. Okay, so remember, when we are calculating the area of a triangle, we are going to use our formula area equals base times height over 2. It's also important to say, hey, I'm going to identify the base, the variable b, as 2 1/10, and the height as 6 4/10. Okay, now let's go ahead and use these two numbers. We're going to call what we say, substitute those in. So instead of having b, we're going to say 2 1/10. Instead of the h being there, we're going to say 6 4/10. Now remember, when there's a b and an h, these are variables, and they are next to each other like this, it means to multiply. So we're going to say a equals 2 1/10 times 6 4/10, all divided by 2. Notice I just rewrote everything that's here with actual numbers that I've already identified from here. Okay, now I'm going to simplify this by looking at the top first. So I'm going to do some scratch math over here, and I need to multiply 6 4/10 times 2 1/10. It doesn't matter which number you put on the top when we're multiplying. The reason why I put the 1 on the bottom is because I can just go 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 6 is 6, drop down my 0, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 6 is 12, and then I can just add these numbers. 4 plus 0 is 4, 6 plus 8 is 14. All right, so now let's not forget we have to take the decimal out of the problem and put it back into the answer. So that means area is now equal to, remember, 13 44 hundredths, all divided by 2. Okay, now let's do that math. So we have, let's see, we can do that over here. We have 13 44 hundredths all divided by 2. First thing we do is just kick that decimal right up. Okay, we're going to make sure that place value stays the same. 2 goes into 13 6 times, which is 12. Subtract and get 1. Bring down the 4. Don't worry about the decimal because remember we kicked it up. 2 goes into 14 7 times, so 7 goes on the top. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract and get 0. Bring down the 4. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract and get 0. Okay, so that means the area of this triangle, okay, is 6 77 hundredths centimeters. When we're talking about area, we're talking about square units. And just remember, triangles are half of a rectangle. So we multiplied the base times the height, and then we just divided by 2. Okay, let's try 2 more examples for you to try on your own. We're going to start with, let's see here, 14 75 hundredths divided by 15. Okay, so my dividend is a decimal and my divisor is a whole number. So let's go ahead and put our numbers where they belong. Remember, the dividend goes in the box, so 14 75 hundredths divided by 15. Now, 15 does not go into 14, so I sometimes like to put a 0 there because it's in front of the decimal. All right. Since 15 and 14 are only one number away, I know that 15 goes into 150 10 times. So it would probably go 147, probably 9 times. So let's do 15 times 9. 9 times 5 is 45. Okay, 9 times 1 is 9. 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 113 135. Okay, 15 times 9. So let's put a 9 on the top here. 9 times 15 is 135. We are going to subtract. 7 minus 5 is 2. 14 minus 13 is 1. Now 12 is less than 15, so we can keep moving on. And now I'm going to bring down the 5. Now I'm not sure how many times 15 goes into 125. I know that 15 goes into, or 15 times 9 is 135. So I'm probably going to try 8. So I'm going to do 15 times 8. 8 times 5 is 40. So 8 times 1 plus 4 is 120. So I'm going to say 8. 8 times 15 is 120. Subtract and get 5. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more 0. I like to have 3 decimal places after the decimal to make sure that I can round to the hundredths place. Now, we like to round to the hundredths place because decimals, or I'm sorry, money and percents are out of 100. So I know that 15 goes into 50, 15, 30, 45. So 45 is 3. 3 times 15 is 45. Subtract and get 5. So I could write down the answer of, let's write it down here. Can you see it? Okay. So 14 and 75 hundredths divided by 15 is equal to, and then you would say 983 thousandths, or you could round it, okay, to 98 hundredths because the 3 drops off there. Okay. Another way that I could have written this problem is I could have written it like this: 14 and 75 hundredths divided by 15. Okay, you might see it that way too. All right, we're going to do one more example with the triangle. So this is going to be a triangle here, kind of looks like this. Okay, now my height goes straight down. Okay, so the base is 10 and 5/10, let's go inches, and the height, which is in here, is 12 and 2/10 inches. Okay, and not to forget that area equals base times height over 2. Okay. All right. So area equals base times height over 2. The base is 10 and 5/10, and the height is 12 and 2/10. So now we're going to substitute those back in. So I'm going to have 10 and 5/10 times 12 and 2/10, all divided by 2. Okay, I'm going to do some scratch math down here. All right, let's see here. So we're going to do 10 and 5/10 times 12 and 2/10. All right, here we go. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1, and 2. Okay, now I'm going to put a 0 here. Sorry about that. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. We're going to add 2 zeros. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. Now let's add all these numbers together, and I get 0, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 1. But look, we've got 2 decimals in there, so I'm going to take 2 decimal places out and put 2 back in. So now we have the area is equal to 128, and I'm just going to put 1/10 there because I don't really need that. I might need it when I'm working here, divided by 2. Okay, so now I have to divide. So I'm going to do that division over here too. So I'm going to do 128 1/10 divided by 2. Kick up your decimal. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. Subtract and get 0. Bring down the 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 goes on the top. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract and get 0. Bring down the 1. Now watch, be very careful about this. 2 goes into 1 0 times. We've got to have that 0 there. Have to have that 0 there. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract and get 1. Let's go ahead and bring down a 0 and see what happens here. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract and get 0. That's perfect. So that means that area equals 64 5/100 inches squared. All right, you guys. Nice work. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions. There's a lot of work here. These are very advanced problems. You're doing a great job, and we'll see you soon.